backpacking adventures. Back out on the trail for another winter trip. This time I am solo. It's warm. It's not your traditional Pennsylvania winter. It's going to be in the 60s today. So basically I have my summer gear with me. It's mid-February, and it is supposed to be normally like in the highs in the 20s and lows out here, you know, in the single digits, you know, pushing down into the negatives. But I'm gonna take advantage of the warm weather. I needed to get out. It's been a while. But anyway, I'm at Pine Grove Furnace State Park. That's where I'm starting. And my original plan was just to go 4 miles in to Tom's Run Shelter. I'm going south on the Appalachian Trail. And I don't know, it's like 11 o'clock and I'm feeling good. So when I get to Tom's Run Shelter, if it's early enough and I still feel good, I will push on for 6 more miles to the Birch Run Shelter. And I've stayed there a couple times, but enough chit chat. Let's get down the trail. Well, had to take a layer off already. It's pretty warm. My thermodrop says it's 60, and the weather for this trip, rain, yes, of course. I get rained on every trip. Last trip I did just happened to be colder, so we got snow instead. But this wouldn't be any different, but it's gonna be warm. It's gonna be in the 60s today, like I said earlier. Tonight, depending on where I decide to stay, if it's at Tom's Run Shelter, they're saying like 41, 42 degrees tonight. Down at Birch Run Shelter, which is 6 miles south, is, I think they were saying 38, 37 degrees. Either way, I'm prepared, and I tell you what, it is nice out. There's a slight breeze. It is gloomy though. Kind of wish it was sunny, but it's eerily quiet. I can hear a jet flying over, but other than that, it is quiet. So I got some new gear. I got a new tarp. I got a new backpack I'm trying out. I'll talk about it when I get to camp. So I'm feeling light, I'm feeling good. So enough talking, and let's rock and roll down the trail. Tom's Run Shelter, and I think in record time. I started at 11. It's not even 12:30 right now, so less than an hour and a half. I've gone 4.1 miles, so I don't even think I was going that fast, and a lot of it was uphill. So whatever I did when I changed up my training for this winter, it's paying off. So I'm going to keep on doing it. But here's the shelter area. We got the shelter here. They actually have a place for wood, and someone obviously comes in and cuts it. Plenty of tent pads with more wood. That used to be a hammock hang. I don't know if you can see it. There's big posts. But all these, a whole bunch of trees in here fell down with a storm. I don't know, maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago. But it's been a while since I've been through here. Actually, it's been three years since I've been through here. So, but I'm going to keep going. It's only 12:30. I got about, I don't know, 6 miles-ish, 6.5 miles to Quarry Gap Shelter. But I'm going to stop here and get water. There's a spring up here. Oh, there's also a pavilion here too. So I am going to stop for water and move on. nice campsite up from Tom's Run Shelter, maybe, I don't know, 3/4 of a mile, half a mile to a mile. You could definitely hang a lot of hammocks and tents. Only problem is there's quite a few dead trees around, so you'd have to be strategic or accept the risk. I'm about 7 miles in so far. It's about 1:30, something like that. And I just realized this whole way so far has been uphill. I mean, some of them were steep, but I haven't gone downhill once in the 7 miles. It's been uphill. So I know going down to to the Birch Run Shelter, about a half a mile, 1/4 mile, something like that. It's downhill. So tomorrow I'll have it up, but if it stays like this, then tomorrow's gonna be downhill all the way back. It's gonna be nice. And it's not steep, it's nice gradual, so. It's about 10 after 2. I'm about maybe less than a mile from the shelter, just past the parking lot. I can't remember the road, the main road. It might be 233, I think. I don't know, some highway. But anyway, a lot of cars at every trailhead I pass. So I passed a lot of day hikers, a couple people obviously backpacking, trail runners, and mountain bikers. So everybody's out taking advantage of the beautiful weather. I just hope they're not going to the shelter area. I mean, I don't mind if there's some people there. I just would rather be able to get there and get my spot. I'm selfish. I want my spot first. Then I don't care who comes. But I'll be there pretty early. I'll be there before 2:30. And I started at 11. So 3.5 hours to get 10.3 miles. That's not bad, and I don't even feel like I'm rushing. Obviously, I'm going fast, but it doesn't feel like it. And it was mostly uphill the whole way, so. All right, so last mile, and show you the shelter area. All right, here's the shelter area. Plenty of places for tents, plenty of places for hammocks. I am not sure where I want to go. I don't know if I want to go down here. I don't know if I want to be close to the water. Don't want to be close to the shelter in case people show up. I don't know. Me and Lance tucked back in somewhere over here. I don't know if I can find that spot again. It was back in like the woods, but it was an open spot and it was really nice. But I don't know. I'm going to search around. I did camp there. I had my hammock between those two trees back there, right next to the water one time. I had my tent over in this area a couple times when I did tent camping. And I was back in here somewhere with a hammock. And I don't know if that's where that tree fell, if that's where I was hanging. So I don't know, but time to figure it out. All right, I have camp all set up. And it's about, I don't know, a little bit after 3. I took my time. I have a new tarp. And it was a little tricky. I'm going to have to rethink some things. But anyway, this is the Hex tarp from Hammock Gear. It does not have doors. It's just a plain tarp. So I'm going to try to go doorless this year. Now, normally in the winter, I would use doors because it would be cold. But, of course, it's not cold right now. So it gives me an opportunity to try this out. Now, the difference is I didn't get the D-rings where I could put my own hardware on. I got line lock 3s all the way around, and let me show you. So here's the line locks for the guy outs, and I got line locks here on the ridge line as well. The only problem is this was slipping. I had to put a little half hitch in there to bite down on it. So I think this Dyneema line I have, it's kind of like, it's almost waxy, so I think it's slipping through out of the the line lock, so I may have to rethink that and get a more coarse kind of lines for the ridge line, or I just tie that knot and it stays just fine. The one other problem I realized is normally I have my shock cord here. This time around I have it's on at the stake, because I still want that little bit of give for when it's really windy. The only problem is I used to wrap it around my trekking pole to put it in porch mode, and then the tensioner was out here and I could make it real tight. So I'm having problems with that now. So I think I may have to carry along just a couple little lengths of some shock cord to run through there, and I can put it up in porch mode. The other ones also had little loops here where I could have turned the trekking poles upside down and put it up. But I didn't like that because if it got windy and flapped, you know, you could tear your tarp by the point of your trekking pole. So that's the tarp. As far as the gear, the hammock is my Dream Hammock Darien in, I think it's MXT or something like that, 1.2, but it's really light. The whole thing it's netted. It's only 13 ounces. And I have my 30-degree underquilt, my Phoenix, and then I have my 30-degree top quilt from Z-Pack. So that's my whole setup for tonight. Oh, and I did bring my Sports and Benny, the Big Mama table, which I like that. Everything's all set up. I think I'm gonna have an early dinner. The sun came out, which is nice. There's some blue sky above. Really turned around so far today, but I will put my underquilt protector on, I believe, tonight, because there's gusts of wind coming through, and I'm just probably put that on, and then I don't have to get up in the middle of the night and do it. But it's not gonna be that cold. But here's a nice fire pit. I'm debating making a fire. I did bring a saw. Don't know if I'm gonna do it. All right, well, it's going on 4 o'clock and I am hungry. Tonight it is Dottie's Chicken and Dumplings with a chocolate caramel pecan Quest protein bar, really good, and a Chomp's beef stick. These are really good too. That's all I'm having for dinner. I'm gonna have an electrolyte drink here, a purple drink. But it's after 4, it's starting to get cold. The temperature's starting to drop. There's a wind blowing through. So it'll probably be colder, especially down there by the water, because last time I camped here, matter of fact, it was 2 years ago, almost to the day, and there was almost a foot of snow on the ground, and at night it was 8 degrees at night, and that was down by the water. So I'm pretty much essentially in the same spot where my tent was when I camped here, but I hung my hammock. So somebody else did come in, and they're set up back there, almost back where I was, but there was a bunch of dead trees back there. That's why I didn't set up there. And here's my hammock from up here. So pretty nice setup. So now it's time to eat. I'm gonna go back to my hammock, probably have a tea later. Oh, and I realized I didn't bring any coffee. I have 0 coffee, forgot to pack it. I usually have some in here, but nothing. So I'm gonna have to get up tomorrow, and I have some tea in here, I see. I hope it's more than 1. If it's 1, then I'm saving that for tomorrow, and I'll have that in the morning as a hot drink to kind of wake me up. But there's no caffeine in it, so I'll be hiking on empty tomorrow. Dinner was absolutely wonderful. That Dottie's Chicken and Dumplings is my favorite. It's so good, especially when it's chilly out and cold, because it's more like a soup. It's really, really good. So it's going on like 5 o'clock or something like that. I'm just relaxing. I'm just going to hang out here. My neighbors over there built a fire. I had a meeting, and it was unanimous that no fire tonight because I'm just too lazy. Don't feel like doing it. I do have my little candle, which I will light up, and that will be my fire for tonight. I just don't feel like gathering wood, and if there was wood stacked up here, like at the last shelter area, I would absolutely do one, but I even have my saw. I just don't feel like putting it together, don't feel like sawing, don't feel like gathering wood. Just out here just to relax and just enjoy hanging out here in my hammock. You know, today was a really, really good hiking day. I haven't felt this good hiking since 2022. When it was kind of weird then. It was like I could hike and just not stop. I could just keep going. I was hiking huge mile days back to back. The one trip I did was on the Appalachia Trail, 85 miles. And I did it in two and a quarter days. I did 37 miles the first day, 40 miles the second day, and then I finished it out the 8 miles the last day. And it was like I could just keep on going forever. And last year did not feel that way. It was tough. And I'm thinking it's because the backpack I had that I got last year, it was a 40-liter backpack and it had a hip belt. And I don't know, and number one, last year I started just carrying more stuff. I just felt like I just, you know, if I just carry stuff, who cares about weight? But I think that made a difference because my base weight was like 3 or 4 pounds more than what I'm used to anyway. But I did that all year, and the backpack though had a hip belt, and it was always like my hips were hurting. Not like from rubbing or pain, but like the muscles were sore. So I don't know. Yeah, today was a really good day. I did 10.3 miles in 3.5 hours, and I wasn't even trying. I just zoomed right down the trail. It was a beautiful day, a little gloomy, but I didn't get rained on. It was kind of humid. It was nice, and man, I just was just cruising down the trail, just looking at everything, filming. It was nice. So here's my backpack. This is a Light AF Curve. I think it's a 30-liter pack. If you notice, the colors are exactly the same as the one I had last year. I just like the colors, so I just chose the same ones. This is 30-liter. The only difference between this and the other pack besides the size is I did not get a bottom pocket because I never ever use them for anything. And it doesn't have a hip belt. So this is very light, it's very small. Before last year, like my sweet spot was around 35-liter pack. Last year I upped that because I just started bringing more stuff. This year I'm going to do the opposite, and because most of the stuff I took besides my table I didn't use. So the table won't be going with me on like really long trips where I have to do big mile days because that weighs almost a pound. But I'll be using this most of the year. I'm going to try to be ultra light most of the year. I switched out some clothes, switched out some gear, like this tarp, which is lighter. I got this hammock last year, which is lighter. So it made it a lot easier. I'll be ultra light and I'll be able to carry. And not that being ultra light is important, but I want to be as light as I can so I can go farther and still bring like base layer pants. Because really, the one thing I have to really cut out now, because I have the lightest gear I can possibly get. So anything more to lighten up would be to leave things behind. And I'm at the point where I picked out my gear. I'm just under 10 pounds and I have everything, you know, base layer, all the clothes I need, hat, gloves, puffy, for all year. And that's where I like it. I like to have all that stuff because last year and the year before I was out in the sun, like last year, late spring, it was like 70 and 80 degrees. The one night it got down to 27 when I was out there. Totally unexpected, but I had my puffy, had my gear, had base layer pants, my fleece. I was good. It is 6 o'clock and I am done for the night. Just had some tea to warm me up a little bit. It's getting colder. It's in the 40s right now. I hung my food. They do have bear poles here. It doesn't seem like they're very high though. I'm not sure if I like that, but anyway, I hung it. I got the creek right here. I'm gonna listen to that tonight. That'll put me to sleep after I watch my movie. Tomorrow should be a nice walk out. I mean, there's just this one uphill here. I think maybe one other small one, then it's all downhill from what I remember. It's all downhill all the way back to the car. And again, I'm heading back the same way I came, only because I'm by myself. I didn't have anybody else with me here to, you know, to shuffle cars and hike through. But with that, I'm going to leave it, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Good morning, day 2. It is just about 7 o'clock. I slept really good, really comfortable, really warm. It was a quiet night, and I'm talking low because I have neighbors, and I don't think they're awake yet. But today, it's 10.3 miles back to the car. I'm just heading back the same way I came. I think it's going to be pretty easy. It's going to be downhill. We'll see if I can go as fast as I did yesterday. I didn't even realize I was going fast yesterday, but we'll see how I feel. Right now I am going to eat, and what I have, not really that much for today, but I have a steak omelet with green peppers from Next Mile Meals. This is the egg meals from Next Mile Meals are really good. I know, like, if you've ever had, like, you hear the horror stories like about Mountain House where it's like soup. These come out like really good. That's one thing about Next Mile Meals. If you follow the water exactly what they say, if it says 8 ounces, you put 8 ounces. It works. I mean, and it comes out perfect, you know, every time. So that's one thing I do like about the Next Mile Meals, is that some of them you have to put more water in, like with other meals, than what they say, or you have to put less because it becomes soupy. But this is spot on. And I'm gonna have a Skippy wafer bar. I got these at Costco. I'm gonna have one of these for breakfast, and that's it for my breakfast. Besides, I'm gonna have some tea, because just to have a hot drink, because I forgot coffee. So I'm gonna have to hike out of here with zero caffeine. So that's gonna be fun. It's about 8:30, and just left camp. It was a real quiet night, very peaceful. The wind calmed down, but it's cold. It was like 41, 42 degrees this morning. Today, it's not going to be as warm as yesterday. Yesterday, it was in the 60s during the hike. Today, it's not even supposed to get out of the 40s, so it's like 41, 42 right now. It's pretty cool, but it's not like freezing cold. But it really looks more gloomy than yesterday. Like it's gonna rain today or something. But as soon as I get up here, up out of this valley here by the highway, I'll probably have signal. So I'm gonna try to pull the weather down. But it's not gonna take me long to get back to the car. I got 10.3 miles to go. It is before 12, and I made it back to the car, 10.3 miles in under 3.5 hours. But I wasn't filming as much, so that's probably why I went even faster than yesterday. But I'm all done with this hike. I really had a good time. It was really fun just to get out for a quick hike. Challenge sometimes to get out here in the woods and just camp out, but it kind of felt like a cheat though, because it was so warm yesterday in the 60s. You know, I have my summer gear and it's mid-February, but anyway, hey, I had a good time, and that's what it's all about. So I'm gonna go find myself a burger. So I'd like to thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.